Grand evening. Excuse me whilst I just finish off this bit of cashew. Um, a grand 76 solar rising for Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey. I trust you had a fabulous 76 solar rising celebrations, that you were surrounded in beautiful events, occurrences, and people. What do I want to talk about this evening? Well, there are a number of things. There's a couple of things going on at the minute, some of which I've skirted around, and I really haven't got the time to, at the moment, to go into detail, because there's so much that I could go into detail about, so I'm not too sure where to begin. I suppose I would like to say a little bit more maybe then about what it is to be British and what the distinction is between the British and the English, and what Britain, I've said a little bit already about what Britain means and therefore what it means to be British. And that knowledge is growing and deepening, and my comprehension of that and the implications of that knowledge, new knowledge in some instances, some of it not that new. What's not new? Well, known since about the age of 18, that through the work of archaeologists that have discovered that the earliest skulls and bones that have been identified here in the UK are classified as Africoid skulls and bones. But going back to, I don't know, Neolithic or prehistoric times, whatever that might be, because that's another aspect that I've come to again comprehend, is about timelines and how they've been distorted. We don't seem to be in the West, in Britain, in the UK, clear about when the Middle Ages were, when the Dark Ages were. There's another set of ages as well. Can't be too sure. And they don't seem to cut the dates that we have that correlates to those periods. You've got the Bronze Age too. You've got Bronze Age Britain, Middle Age Britain, Dark Age Britain, or England, or the UK, messing with the language, messing with the timelines, distorting them, changing them, rewriting them. No wonder we're all a bit confused about what history is. But I don't think it's by accident. I do not believe, in fact, I know that all of what we're experiencing and have experienced, not just over the last 2.5 years, but over the last, depending on where you are, which timeline you're referring to, 2,000 years, since the birth of Jesus Christ. And during the time of Jesus Christ, by the way, there were no J's, so his name couldn't have been Jesus. It's just things like this, and some people say, well, we're just doing it just to be convenient, for convenience sake, and to keep things simple. Simple for who? uh, and less complex for who? You know, it's taken all of my lifetime, and there's still a lot of resistance to the idea that Jesus could not have been as pale skinned as the pictures that were sitting over my fireplace when I was growing up. There's no way. And also, he was not a reflection of anybody in my family. Anybody, you know, with the blue eyes rather, and blonde hair, sitting over the fireplace, taking, you know, up high and leaning in. So that narrative is quite clearly a lie. And there are more lies are being unveiled. It's becoming clearer that the people that are offering us governance have not done a very good job, and they are under treaty and within the constitution. They are here, and they that I'm referring to is the UK Crown Corporation, known as the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom of Great Britain, rather than there's another way of putting it, and I'll put it another way. So you've got the United Kingdom of Great Britain, and you've got the Kingdom of Great Britain, and the two very different things. The United Kingdom, as I say, is a corporation. It's a business that, under treaty, has been given authority to do business here. And at the moment, they are behaving as belligerent occupiers, not just here, but in Great Britain, but across what has been retermed the Commonwealth. Okay, Commonwealth was formerly known as the British Empire. Yeah, and it did cover more than 2/3 of the globe, and it was an empire that was made up of kingdoms, and it was British, and it was established well before England became a force then, and the force that now exists. It wasn't always this way. So again, that's part of history, British history and English history, that people don't talk about. You know, how you know, what was going on at the time of William the Conqueror being on these islands. You know, it'd come from somewhere to come and conquer. And what was he conquering? Who was he conquering? Well, he was conquering my ancestors. Let's be cut to the chase here. Yes, my ancestors, my ancient mothers and fathers that were genocided, exiled, and ethnically cleansed from these islands and from Europe. And that is the truth, Ruth. It's not my opinion. It's there in the books, in the history books. I've got one of them up there, look. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can point to it. There. It's called The Black Tudors. Now, no, they're not Africans that have come in. You know, they're well-established communities that go that of nobility and aristocracy and monarchy that go back to the time and before the time of William the Conqueror, before the time of William of Orange, before the time of the 1707 Anti-Jacobite Act, which basically, again, the United Kingdom had created legislation to ensure that the indigenous and aboriginals, the British to these lands, were enslaved, essentially, and they couldn't, created legislation that meant that they were now no longer allowed to stand upon the land of their inheritance and their forebears, and that which has been their birthright, been my birthright. And that is the current situation at the moment. There is a bit of a land grab going on, and the reason for a lot of immigration into this country is because to keep people confused about who actually has allodial titles, who has hereditaments here, who has sovereignty, who is native to these lands. And lots of people have been laying claim. Those that claim to be British that are quite clearly not. Those that claim to be Jew and quite clearly not. You know who you are. I'm just discovering who you are. So that's also what I wanted to say today. I'm just looking at my little clock. Doesn't time fly when you are fighting for your life? I'm not fighting for my life, but my life is under threat, to make no two ways about it. I've recently discovered, just to spend a couple more minutes, it takes up to 15 minutes, that reparations is quite clearly a ruse to keep the idea going that people that are melanated are the products of the slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, which you will see, don't have to take my word for it. In fact, do your own research, actually. Prove me wrong, if you can, that the transatlantic slave trade, another fiction, didn't happen. So if it didn't happen, then what did Columbus see? What did he really see? And actually, if you read his accounts, he does say what it is that he saw. And it fits with the notion that melanated peoples in the Americas, North, Central and South America are saying, and in the Caribbean and in the islands off Central America, they're saying they're all beginning to sort of acknowledge, because there is no narrative within those families of being captured and being moved from the African continent to the Americas, or to Europe for that matter, or anywhere. There are some accounts of Africans being taken. I think it's about 150, 170 African slaves or African people that were taken to the Americas. That's it. And I, alongside, again, melanated people in America, saying that we were here already. When is it the Mayflower, the Pilgrims, the people fleeing persecution from Europe, going to the Americas, were actually melanated peoples fleeing persecution. Yeah, that was part of the ethnic cleansing that was going on from the mid 1800s. And it continues today, actually, because Priti Patel has made it clear. She's seeking to deport people that basically don't do as they're told. And I am here to tell you, Miss Patel, that you have no allodial titles, no alienable rights or unalienable rights to these lands and any estates on them. Neither does anyone that works within the United Kingdom Corporation. You are a foreign occupier, make no bones about it. I know who you are, and I'm here to let you know you're on notice, actually. Yes, you are a third party interloper. Yes, you are not just Priti Patel, but all of the UK Crown Corporation and anybody that works for them too. You are responsible for the state that the country is in right now, and you are the ones that are responsible for the deaths. You are responsible for the state of the economy, whether by incompetence or design. You must be held accountable for the last 2.5 years and then some. So I think that's what I wanted to say. I've gone 2 minutes over, bang on. Just wanted to sort of say that what I've said. Not easy to say, I have to say, but I'm going to be saying some more. Till the next time, may your ERP remain strong. You're going to need it to be. We all are.